You talked about a pretty serious customer experience gap that exists in the marketplace. And I'd just love to start out and just say, can you describe that gap and so we can understand it? And then we'll talk about how we address and get around that gap.
Absolutely. So because I didn't grow up through becoming a typical in many event production and brand marketing agencies, you have a lot of people inside the agency that grew up doing production or doing technical production or having been a project lead. I didn't have that background. My first role at American Express was, for example, selling advisory services sales. I was going in and meeting with chief client officers and chief revenue officers and presenting to them opportunities for their business to accelerate through looking at cost savings, through looking at bringing in subject matter experts from our company into their business. And so I come from a background that isn't traditional agency. So I want to be really clear about that as my agency colleagues are listening to this. I come with a different lens, but the lens is also one for me that's very important in that because of my background, my role and my passion, frankly, is always to really understand a client's business. So when you hear me talk about being client centric, I think it's a word that is overused. And I think it's a buzzword. It's easy for you to say we're client centric in a creds deck, when you're trying to pitch new business and we really care about our clients. And then you sit down and you have a tea or a glass of wine with someone. And you're like, so what do you do to be client centric? Pause. Oh, well, we love our clients and we send, we do once a year, we do a client event and it's a really great client event. That's great. So that's marketing. Marketing is not being client centric. Client centric, and what we talk about a lot as a team inside of Interactive is client centric is understand. And so all of our amazing associates inside of Interactive, as well as our freelancer associates. So because we're an agency, we rely so heavily on this amazing team of freelancers as well. We spend a lot of time thinking about how do we make our clients successful? So every single one of our associates have a client somewhere inside of our partnership with the client. And so we think a lot about what's happening in the stock market and therefore if they're publicly traded, what's happening with their stock price. We make an active, concerted effort to listen to if publicly traded and they're doing earnings calls that are public, listening to every single earnings call. You'll see our account directors send around a report. Just listen to the earnings call. This is what we're hearing. We may want to think about our next conversation with them to mention this element, this geopolitical element, or this potential close. They've mentioned they've closed this office. Is that an impact? Do they need our help? Do they need a huge town hall to really connect that messaging? So client centric is also for us, again, playing this out of what this would look like on a day to day. Client centric is we should wake up every morning knowing our clients' calendars almost as well as they do and sort of questioning ourselves, what data points could I give to my client this morning that could help them be even more successful inside of their companies? I say to our team a lot, who are we getting promoted this year? Do you know what their goals are, what they're being metriced against? Let's figure out how to make sure that they accelerate and exceed those. If we're connected to our clients' goals, well, those goals are rolling up into the top line. Their C-suite team has cascaded down those goals to them. And so we're in the symbiotic relationship, making sure that we're very clear on how to make them successful. And then there's simple things. Client centric is also doing things that are not such big picture that I'm talking about now. Client centric is, hey, I just heard this client got married. Let's do a really nice e-card from all of us that just says, we're so excited for you. And you would not believe the smallest touches. And this is probably my 5-star background, but it doesn't always have to be this huge act of seeing you. Sometimes it can be something quite simple that you don't expect. And so we try and find those little moments to make a client feel really special throughout the day, the week. We challenge ourselves actively in doing that.